Today I'm going to tell you the story of the summer of Try. From my perspective.
From my perspective.
From my perspective.
From the only perspective that matters, Miles Bonsignore. Do you ever wish? Pretty good, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. The summer of Try was summer 2019, where we had more projects drop than ever. We put out a podcast, we put out a book, we went on tour. It was a crazy summer of projects. I'm gonna take myself out of the equation. It was not my idea. I was very much like, no. We gotta do this only if it's right.
Keith was definitely pretty high on doing the tour. I was as well. We had a lot of live performing experience through our comedy theaters.
I have been pushing us to tour since the first year of the Try Guys, because I used to tour. I did a lot of comedy touring, and I'm like, guys, we have a big brand. We can go do shows. People will love us. But it wasn't really until this year that I think we were ready to do it. So I would say Keith, and then I'll give some credit to Zach, because Zach's dad is our touring agent.
For the last 4 to 5 years, he's been like, cool, when are you guys going on tour? I think the idea to go on tour came from me, but the idea of what the tour is and what it became was totally a collaborative process.
Well, I guess is that I had my knee is kind of fucked up right now, and I did 20 shows on a fucked up knee where we're jumping up and down. We're doing that stupid which is just hopping up and down on my bad knee. Well, I was always awake first every day, and then Keith would wake up about a few hours after me, and then Zach and Ned would sleep until forever. I was like the enthusiastic dad on the vacation who's ready to go in the morning, and everyone else was like the kid who was in bed going no.
So you sleep on a bus. Sometimes it just rocks you to sleep like a baby, but other times it's bumpy or it's swaying a little bit too far. Plus, you're all hopped up on adrenaline after doing this exciting show, so you probably wouldn't fall asleep till midnight, 1, 2, sometimes 3.
That was the thing I realized. I was like, is my life plateauing? How do I top this? I just did the coolest thing I'll ever do in my life. I don't know that I'll ever be able to do something quite that cool. I'm gonna try really fucking hard though. The best thing about being on the road for 20 cities is seeing 20 cities in the summer.
You always have a couple of hours free in the morning to explore a new barbecue restaurant or check out some cool coffee shops in Detroit.
The people who came out to our shows in every city, being able to talk to so many of them, especially about the coming out video, and we have so many queer audience members, which is awesome, and a lot of them who are queer or questioning were able to talk directly to me about their experiences. And since the coming out video had just come out before the tour, they felt very confident and open to be able to engage with me on those topics.
And to see those people and get to interact with them and give them high fives and sing songs with them and laugh with them, I don't think anything I ever do will quite match it.
I think we have to go with our Boston show.
Boston? The cities that my parents attended the show.
Every city was so special. Cop-out answer.
Boston was a sold-out show, and it was sold out for weeks before the show, so it was a super amped crowd.
It was a near perfect show. We had really hit our stride by then.
And I broke the chandelier with a chicken tender during my segment, which created some really natural drama, because I hit the chandelier, a string falls, and everyone's like, oh no. The first time, particularly for my mom, that I could openly talk to her about being gay, because my entire personal section of the show is sort of like a big old pride parade. So she essentially watched me do a 10-minute pride celebration in pseudo drag. Afterwards, she told me that I looked pretty. So that was her way of saying, I think we're getting to better place of communication.
The most special had to have been New York. It was Beacon Theater, iconic theater, the biggest crowd we had. I want to say 2,600 to 2,700 people. On my birthday, in the most iconic theater, the crowd spontaneously sang happy birthday to me. Our show is about an hour 50. That show ran 2.5 hours. And the honest truth is that it wasn't any of our ideas. We started considering a book because of our wonderful book agent, Jessica. Our book agent found us and said, you should write a book. And we're like, oh, okay, sounds good.
She probably hounded us for 2 years. I think you guys are great. You should really write a book. Hey, 6 months later, just checking in about that book.
I guess Ned
kind of, since Jessica got Ned's email first. But then maybe I should give a little credit to Zach, because Zach worked the most on managing our book writing over the year. Or should I just say Keith, because that would just be funny. No, it was Jessica. It was all Jessica.
The Hidden Power of Fucking Up came out on my birthday, which kinda sucked because it was my birthday. That day's supposed to be about me, and it said it was about everybody. Because we are announcing The Hidden Power of Effing Up. Also, it's my birthday.
Once it was actually a book and it was bound and had a barcode, it kind of a serene, special moment for me. And it lasted about 30 seconds. And then it was just on to the logistical grind of flying and traveling and bookstores and going on tour. And
I would say that it was just so hectic during that time that I could not even process it while it was happening.
Way better than I thought. So many people have reached out to me saying they're trying to improve their own health journeys. They talked about how what I wrote about how I was insecure about things really resonated with them, and they like to know that, you know, everybody has the same fears. It makes you feel more okay with yours.
I met so many people that said, hey, I'm dressing outside of my comfort zone because of your chapter. And I'm like, I would never know. I mean, this looks like a great outfit, but for them, it was a deep insecurity just like for me.
Also, I didn't really tell my family that they were in the book. They texted me and were like, oh, we're in this book. Yeah, that was a very stressful summer for me.
It was right before a show. I had just gotten out of the shower and I saw a missed call from New York and a missed call from our book agent, and I was in a towel and I went, oh fuck. She called me again and I said, hey, I'm not with the guys, don't say anything. And she's like, okay, get him. And I hung up.
And we're like, oh no. So we all sat down, we're on these little couches, we're in, what city are we in?
We were in no, not Denver. I remember the basement.
Not Phoenix.
We found out backstage at the Minneapolis dressing room.
And we put the call on speakerphone, and she said that we were #1 New York Times bestsellers.
And we were just flipping out. We were so excited.
New York Times #1 bestseller. That's insane. That's inane.
Some things are like so amazing that your brain can't even fathom it.
I kind of wanted to cry because it was just such a crazy achievement. It's an achievement that is one of those you don't think you'll get in life.
It's like you tell that to people and they look at you different. They're like, whoa, you like J.K. Rowling? So the idea to start a podcast was actually Miles.
That honor lies squarely on Miles's shoulders.
Miles's idea?
Miles got his wisdom teeth taken out and he was out sick for a week and he's like, oh no, I'm gonna fall behind. I'm out for a week. And he later admitted to me that he was like, I need to do something to show that I've got ideas. And so he put together a plan and he emailed it to me of like, here's why I think we should do it. Here's who we can partner with. We should do a podcast. So it was Miles's idea.
We created the podcast with a bunch of trial and error.
Always recorded at 9 in the morning on a Monday. So everyone's dead. Everyone's just dead.
We all stumble into the room 15 minutes after we said we would start. We all take turns going to the bathroom, making sure we have enough liquids to last an hour so that we don't die. We hit record and we decide who is going to host that day's episode.
Probably one of the other guys introducing it.
You either get a perfect, high energy opening from me, or you get a very sleepy, confused opening from Eugene.
We start with an intro and then try and derail the conversation as quickly as possible. The name of the game is non sequiturs and segues, and just feeling like you're in a free-flowing conversation.
I'm like not the most talkative try guy. Podcasting is hard for me. It's still hard. I'm trying.
We always read out a secret from a fan because our fans will leave us reviews in the iTunes store on the Apple Podcast.
And that sometimes will lead into a 20-minute conversation, and then we forget how we got there.
Then we get advice that will go from Miles with Miles Bonsignore, where the least experienced and youngest of us gives his life advice to our viewers.
Then I tell Keith to sing an original song, Ned says something that creeps Eugene out, Eugene shudders, and the episode's over.
But yeah, TRYPOD listeners are great. A lot of Miles Nation out there.
Every year we want to take on at least one really, really big project. So we're making Try Guys bedding and my face is going to be the pillow and you get to sleep on my face. Or if you don't want to, you can flip it over and it's Keith's face.
For 2020, it is a huge goal of ours to have some sort of TV show on the air that was produced by our production company or co-produced. That is the biggest goal. I want it to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Whether that's on Netflix or NBC or like, you know, just fancy YouTube. We're doing that already on the channel, but we want to make something that's even just a step higher production budget.
Triceratops. You guys. You. Steven.
You've made my dreams come true. You enable us to make whatever we want, and hopefully it's good and that you like it. But we do it for you, and we're really happy that you're here with us.
You are helping a 15-person business operate like a 100-person business, and that's incredible, and we couldn't do this without you.
What I know will remain the same is that we have each other, and we have this bond that we've built over the last couple of years, and there's been a community that's come out of it. You guys are now interacting in ways that I could have never anticipated. I'm incredibly grateful. I'm having the time of my life. If you keep watching, I'll keep trying, so. Whenever
I know that even if someone out there got a good laugh that helped them get out of a depression that day, or were incredibly moved by something where I spoke about my background as an Asian or a person who's gay, what you as the audience tell me is what keeps me doing what I do here online. Also, you can't poop on tour buses. Gotta squeeze it out before you get in the bus. Also, no laundry. Oh my God, you had to wait. I don't know when we did laundry. You don't really get to do laundry on tour. Yeah, dirty boys.